All right. Welcome, everyone. My name is Catherine Follis. I was the 5th woman in the world to become a master sommelier, and we're recording this for Planet Grape Wine Review. I'm here today with Ursula Muller, Ursula Schneider Muller. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
George Albrecht Schneider, and of course she can pronounce her language much better than I can. But we're celebrating women in wine, and we're so excited to have Ursula here from Germany to talk about a couple of her wines. Welcome, Ursula.
All right. Thank you for having me. Hello, everybody. Yeah. So your pronunciation was perfect. Here, all my friends call me Uschi. So yeah, but Ursula is absolutely perfect. Yes.
So everyone around the world has been impacted by this global pandemic. How have you had to change how you do things?
Yeah, the shutdown came surprisingly and quickly in March. And for me personally, all of a sudden, I had a kindergarten and a school kid at home and a winery where everything was growing, and our people that do the seasonal work left to go home. So challenging. I'm not a teacher, I figured out. But yeah, we kind of managed our way through it. It was hard. No restaurant business, no on-premise work. I mean, that was the same in your country. Export, no business. Fortunately, the people here in Germany really like to enjoy wines at home. So, and they like to buy directly from the winery. So our UPS driver was busy.
I bet. Well, that's
so that
good.
was good.
Yeah,
so that was good. It didn't catch up all the things that were not happening, but it was a good sign, and it helped us to go through these times. Yeah.
Great. Yes, I'm hearing that from a lot of wineries around the world, that they really have to go consumer direct. You have to kind of get there, or to the retailers, which are doing fairly well.
Yes.
But the restaurant side of things, if you had a high proportion of restaurant clients as your brand, it's just been so difficult.
Yeah.
But
that's actually one thing we've been focusing on for the last 10 years, to spread our market, and that was a good sign in these days. Yeah.
Awesome. And so, as a woman winemaker, do you feel you have any advantages?
Hard to tell. I mean, we are more of a team here.
Yes.
My husband is a winemaker, so we and my parents are still involved. So it's a classic family-owned winery where everybody is part of the process. I would say my kind of big advantage, probably of the most women in business, is that we like to connect and we like to talk to other people, no matter in what area they work with. I have a group here of women that are entrepreneurs and like to do business. They're winemakers and flower people and just everything. So I think our big advantage is that we like to talk and communicate and have a sensibility for certain things, for the small steps in our life. So I think that's a big advantage that we like to work with. Yeah.
And it's amazing that your family, you're in the 9th generation, I was reading. Is that your kindergartner, or is that you?
That's me.
Okay, wow. So the 10th is in training.
Yeah, 10 is coming, and they're actually extremely excited because it's harvest right now, and
cool.
they are not excited about going to school. They want the lockdown back. Yeah, 9th generation. For me personally, it meant that I didn't go into the winery right away. I wanted to do something different. I worked in a completely different branch, and saw some different work life to kind of really know and see what I have at home. So after a 6-year go away, I came back to the winery, which was a good time and now a great decision.
Yeah. Fantastic. So tell us a little bit about the winery. I know that there's a big focus on growing naturally, sustainably.
Yes.
Or from the beginning.
Yeah, basically, I mean, you couldn't be a ninth generation if the generation before you didn't take care of the soil and the land and didn't treat the vines and soils so that the next generation could go on, right? So yeah, we like to do that. We work with no irrigation. We like to save water and save energy wherever possible. Luckily, we mostly have enough rain, so it works. Yeah, so that's what we do, and we like to point out the soils that we work in. We want to show the origin, our handwork, and make unique wines. And that's probably what my parents already passed on to me and my husband, and that what we like to continue in our own way. Yeah.
And so we're in the Rheinhessen, and we're in Nierstein. Is that correct? Nierstein.
Yeah.
Like a stein of beer.
Yeah, yeah. A stein is actually a rock.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, so we are on the Rhine River in a town called Nierstein, actually one of the oldest wine growing towns in Germany. The Romans were extremely active here back in the ancient times and brought the winemaking to the area and the first wines. We actually have the oldest mentioned vineyard of all Germany in our town. So winemaking is a big part of town, and we have the Rhine River, and we have a very special, unique soil, the red slate here.
Oh, look at that, beautiful.
Which is layered like a slate, but it's red, high on iron, and produces extremely unique taste into the wine. Yes.
Well, speaking of tasting wine,
yeah,
tell us about this. I love the label. It's lovely.
Yeah.
Very easy on the eyes.
So, yeah, the little guy in the center is actually from our old coat of arms that was given to the family in the 1800s. Oh. And it actually shows an agricultural worker with a sickle, I think that's the English word, and some corn. No, corn's wrong.
Or grain? Is it grain?
Yes, grain. Thank you. And he used to be in the coat of arms, and when we took over, we wanted to modernize the label but still show the tradition, and so we took the little centerpiece of the coat of arms and gave him the big stage. And the first wine is Riesling vom Kalk. Translated means from limestone. So we really like to point out what soil the wine grows in.
So kalk, like chalk.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Wow, that's great. So, even I can understand that.
Yeah, learn German today. Another rock. So the limestone is more of a yellow. I don't know if you see that. Yes. Yellow, rocky, thick soil. These are two major soils we work on. One is the red slate and the limestone, the kalk. And the Riesling vom Kalk is bone dry. So it's a cabinet style. So grapes that are harvested early during vintage time, during harvest time. So nice and ripe, but not super golden overripe. We want that freshness and sparkling kind of taste to the wine.
And it says dry right on the front label. It says trocken.
Exactly.
In German.
It's trocken. Yes, dry, and trocken is the German word. So if you're interested in any technical data, this means the wine has to be below 9 grams of residual sugar.
So it's for a consumer looking for a drier German Riesling. This is not sweet. It's still got a little bit of a touch of sweetness.
Yes.
But really dry.
Yeah, absolutely dry, very crisp, clear, very clean, elegant. From the fruitier side, it's more on the citrusy, grapefruit, lime, lemony kind of flavorness.
And a little bit fuller in body too, a little bit higher alcohol.
Yes, not high in alcohol, but nice and full of body. So I have 18 here, and that's 13. I know that the 19 that we just bottled has only 12.5. So depending on the vintage, they usually go between 12 and 13% of alcohol.
Nice.
Yeah. And what's actually my favorite about the wine, that it really pulls the limestone into the wine. So you get a real nice minerality, salty kick in the back
I
that
love
kind of
it.
softens up that citrusy taste to it.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yes.
Awesome. And then let's taste the next wine.
Next is Paterberg Riesling Cabinet. So we actually stay in the limestone area, but now on a single vineyard cabinet, which is yeah, rather fruitier style, semi-sweet. Our classic bread and butter every day for every occasion, easy drinking wine.
Mhm.
So as in the Vom Kalk, we have that nice fruitiness of citrusy and lemon combined with real nice level of residual sugar. So a perfect balance between acidity and sweetness and freshness. And again, my little rock comes in. We have a nice minerality to it. So
You know what, Ursula? You are a teacher. You are.
no, I can talk about wine, but for some reason that's not subject in third grade. Yeah, so but that's my favorite thing about those wines that we produce. We like to really show where they come from. So we have 3 Rieslings tonight. They're completely different. Yeah, and showing where they come from.
And so what does the word cabinet mean on this?
So cabinet is one of the German quality levels. We start with a QBA, then a cabinet and a Spätlese, and it actually tells you how ripe the grape was. So how much sugar was in the grape juice.
Mm.
So might be interesting for you as we harvest right now. This is what we check on if we decide on what day to harvest. So earlier this evening, I went out into the vineyards and checked how much Ursula, I think you measure in bricks.
Yes,
so how much sugar? Is that right?
Yes, it's
Yeah.
one
So
of those words that I've known for years and years and years.
I know.
This whole thing was very confusing when I was learning about wine, but
I believe so. Yes. Yeah. So the German wine levels are rated into the sugar level when harvested in the grape juice, and the Cabinet is a rather earlier harvested grape.
And then the Spätlese, this is a little bit later, right? A little bit later
Exactly.
in the harvest
timeline. Yeah, and actually Spät means late in English, actually translated one by one, and Lese for us is the word harvest. So it's actually translated into late harvest. Yeah, which means the grapes are out longer, they get more sun, they get hopefully golden yellow color and super sweet juice, and then we get a beautiful Spätlese in the bottle.
So the wine is getting richer, not necessarily sweeter as we go.
No, because what we do is the sugar ferments into alcohol, and if we keep the wine fermenting all the way through, all the sugar is turned into alcohol, and then it's not a sweet wine anymore.
Right.
If we stop fermentation, what we do with those last 2 wines, we cool down the tanks to stop the fermentation, and then the natural sugar from the grape juice stays in the wine. Wonderful. And that gives natural sweetness. Yeah.
And so what do you recommend that we have with these wines as far as pairings?
For the Vom Kalk, the dry, the bone dry Riesling, I like to pair, light seafood, white meat, nice salads. I like a really acidic vinegar-driven dressing with the salad seasoning.
A great idea.
Yeah, I like light barbecues. And I always tell people you should have a German dinner. And German dinner for us is a good piece of bread, dark bread, some nice charcuterie, maybe some olives, some sun-dried tomatoes. So really kind of basic stuff, but that pairs absolutely well with the dry Riesling.
Is there a particular type of olive, Ursula, that works well with the Vom Kalk?
No, I like the Kalamata. I don't know how it's in English. I really love those. But
really briny, kind of that briny, salty, pungent Greek olive.
Yes. Yeah, I like
Amazing
the
that.
saltiness that kind of picks up the minerality in the Riesling.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's amazing that such a delicate wine can handle such a strong flavor. But it's got to be that minerality, acidity.
Yeah, especially you have the 16 here, especially these ones that have some nice ripening time in the bottle. That works well. Yeah.
Love it. It's been ripening in the bottle as we let it sit. It's not going to ripen much longer, I have news.
Yeah, sounds good.
It'll be ripening in our stomachs.
Even
And so
better.
when you have a little bit more sweetness in the wine,
Mhm.
in the Riesling, can you go to spicy? Can you go into Thai
Yeah,
or?
I mean, with the Spätlese, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, that has the highest residual sugar of those three, still combined with a very lively and fresh acidity. So it can definitely pick up even some sweet and sour spicy.
Oh, no,
Works well.
that sounds
And
awesome.
my favorite pairing with a residual sweet, the Spätlese, is actually some ripe blue cheese.
Mm,
Perfect.
wow.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm hungry now, and I'm
And
sure
etc.
thank you so much for taking us
You're
through
very welcome.
the family history and everything that you're doing there in Nierstein, and for joining us at such a late hour for you. We really appreciate that, Ursula.
That's absolutely fine. It's fun to have meetings this way and keep connected over the ocean.
Yes, well, I could tell you about San Francisco right now, but let's just stop it here. It's a
I know,
crazy
actually,
time.
I know. It's hard. It's tough for you guys. Yeah.
It's crazy, crazy. But we have daylight back today. Yesterday it was dark and orange
I
all
just
day.
read an article. Yeah, actually, in our newspaper, there were pictures all over from San Francisco yesterday.
Yes.
It's scary.
So we're hopefully on a good path. I can smell again. I can start tasting wine again. So fingers
Okay,
crossed.
sounds good.
Thank you
All right.
again, Ursula, and a great woman winemaker, a great winemaker in general,
Thank you.
celebrating the fact that she's a woman also. So
Yeah.
cheers. Thank
All
you.
right. I have a glass. Cheers to you, Catherine.
Cheers.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for
And
your time, Ursula.
yeah, hello to California, San Francisco.
Ciao.
All right. Bye-bye.